Hi, in this video I will be talking about the delicate topic of taking medication and why this is such a big deal in psychiatry. Why is taking medication such a big deal in psychiatry? So, today I take typically a type of medication, subadhera injection every third week. Subadhera injection every third week. This means that I have to visit a doctor every third week, which is not very convenient, I admit it. It is not convenient for me, or I don't like to visit a doctor every third week. But that in consideration, it is better to visit the doctor so often rather than experiencing psychosis, hallucinations, possessions, obsessions, illness and sickness and friction of mind. So I choose to take medication. Because it helps me to have a better grasp of reality. So many years, I was struggling against and fighting against medication, doctor, psychiatry, the system. And, very much of the system that psychiatry and doctors represent, I still see as a gigantic flaw. Much of it, I must admit. I think there is great lack of recognition and real, genuinely care and honest and responsible consideration of life in the current system of psychiatry and beyond that. However, what I found was the most difficult point for me to overcome taking medication was that my medication was a chemical that I reckon as unnatural. I would reckon my medication as unnatural, thinking that my body is natural. It needs naturally care. It needs the cannabis. It needs the garlic or the ginger or whatever nature remedy. And within that, I would consider taking medication to be like a really devastating blow to my gut. Sort of, I have to take medication. What a bummer. I feel unnatural. I feel ostracized in this world. I feel frozen out in this world. I feel isolated because I have to take my medication, my chemical medication. Again, the fact that it is a chemical composed medication that is unnatural in my eyes would tell me that I am unnatural. It would tell me that I am so sick that I need a unnatural medication to heal myself with. And the fact that it's a chemically composed medication means that it was not very appealing to take medication for me. And yes, there are, of course, the reasoning of how some agents of chemicals may be stored in the liver, in heart, in brain, in kidneys, and all around my body. There might be stored some medications good for my overall health. But me taking medication, me taking my Superdera injection is better than the alternative of risking going into psychosis, being insane, being sick of psychosis and such a occasion or a chance to take. To me, I don't want to go off my medication just yet, because I know that it is not sane for me to go out without medication so far. I reckon that I still need medication for quite some time to balance myself, to bridge myself. Now, my medication doesn't heal my schizophrenia. My medication will quiet my mind a bit. It will give me more clarity of my mind and my inside. It will give me more peace of mind, you might say, more quiet, more calm. And in that sense, it will reduce the symptoms. But it doesn't deal with the schizophrenia in itself, in the background picture, the core, the rooting of schizophrenia. It doesn't heal that. Because that is something that is rooted deep into me, that I have to work with, that I work with self-forgiveness, to embrace myself completely and completely forgive myself for all these memories that have made me. So, if we look at it commonsensically, medication is the best way. I mean, of course, if you take more than 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, yes, there are many people who take many types of medication. Then I would say, if you take as much as 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or more types of medications for your mental health, I would start looking at other ways to heal self. For example, going for walks every day, going for a swim, going for a hike, a bike ride, gently, of course, gently and moderate, of course, but and if it's a possibility to eat more healthy, to have more healthy food, quit with the alcohol, quit with the cigarettes, quit with the whatever, street drugs or whatever, and with the communication with doctor and talking to one's doctor about reducing perhaps some of the medications, if you have a lot of medications that you take, and coordinate that with physical activity, working out, hiking, just walking, biking, doing activities in addition to taking one's most basic and needed drugs. So that for me to take my medication, for me to take my Superdera is a lifesaver, and I wouldn't want to be without it to this day. It was difficult for me to take my medication earlier on because I saw it as unnatural, thinking I'm all pristine and clean and pure, I need only the natural stuff. Kind of a strange but very deep figure of speech or manner of behavior. And there is a lot of things that are flawed with the system. I mean, how I have a small welfare check, income check, while my doctor, who is supposed to be at equal level with me, may say he has $1 million in income. I mean, there's a lot of things and a lot of systems that we need to change. But if we're going to be able and sane and calm and directive and responsible and honest and trustworthy enough to change these systems, be it money system, be it psychiatry, be it mental health awareness, be it whatever system there is that we need to replace with newer, better systems in the world system, we need to first be balanced, grounded, safe, stable, and sane within us, our own being, within us balance and self. Because it is not a good solution to be all screaming, demonstrating and being all in sabotage to the system, rather than having a calm, collected figure of speech and direction of one's living, to find what works best for self, to find best for all solutions. And what is best for all is also best for me, because I'm included in all. And that is how our money system should be directed, to have an equal share for all, sufficient for all. So, drugs is a difficult issue in psychiatry, because we don't understand why we need drugs. And the doctors have a very hard time explaining to me, why I need my drug. They would come up with all these theories about the brain, while the doctors totally forget or ignore that up here is also the mind, the box, the thinking, the noise. While they ignore or doesn't look at the fact that it's not only brain up here, it is also a mind box unit occupying our very top floor. That is not considered properly by far by any doctor I've met. I've met a few. So the fact that each and every individual human being on this earth that are an adult carry a mind box unit is not considered in depth and regard by the scholars, by the doctors, by the psychology establishment. So that to focus on brain biology, physics of the brain, while ignoring what we know about mind consciousness, unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind is ignored and pushed aside, while that is something we must equalize to. And that is where I without a doubt find that what we do at Destiny is truly, truly unique, because I walk as schizophrenic, we walk through our mind and into this world to equalize with what is here. There is none like us. Because we walk to forgive all and every part of this world, to forgive it within, to embrace it and stand as solution as within self. So, for me to walk with my Destiny process, I have found it important and pivotal point to take my medication, to use the drugs that are prescribed, and also to go for walks, to go for a swim, to eat healthy, to stay active, to find hobbies to nourish me, to find hobbies and activities, work, hiking, swimming, as a further bridge on one's mental health. so that it doesn't only become so that one's therapy, one's helping system is not only medication, but also a daily walk, writing out some self-forgiveness every day for memories and everything one has been through, to go for a swim every so often, to make dinner, like learn to make good dinner, bake perhaps, to clean one's floor, one's apartment, to make one's bed every morning. To make one's bed every morning, that means I've started doing something. I wake up and I make my bed, and I started my day with making my bed, and that is a very good starting point. I did something, I made my bed clean and nice and neat, and that is a good starting point to carry with through one's day. And to just consider us all as equals, and to find best for all solutions and considerations of to love one's neighbor, and to try to work with what is the fuzz up in here, what is the disturbing points that we don't want to face, that are really our greatest gifts to discover, because a weakness is only a suppressed strength. One more time, a weakness is only a suppressed strength. So to forgive all the suppression and denying of that weakness, which is a blossom, a flower of suppressed strengths. So, for me today, to take medication, yes, it's not anything that I don't like to think about the fact that I have to be at the doctor's office every third week. It is not very easy. But I know that it will bridge me into a better reality, giving me more clear overview in my mind, giving me more sanity, giving me a better reality and better understanding of myself, better forgiving of myself, better change as self. So instead of having to have the cannabis and alcohol and the street drugs to medicate myself, I used to go for a swim, I work in the garden, I like to walk, I like to cook, I like to clean my apartment, I like to do my bed, and so on and so on. I do things to stay healthy. I also add to my diet dandelion, sting nettle, garlic, ginger, turmeric. Not to overdo it, but same with medication, not to overdo the medication, but to keep a variety and see what works best for self. See what carries, what is beneficial to self. So, yeah, that is some words about medication. I'm very satisfied with this medication. I've been taking it now for about 6 years, I think. 6 years straight, and together with activities and just a much more sane life, from the starting point of quieting a bit the mind, the noisy, fragmented, psychotic mind. I'm quieting that down a bit to then in reality open up myself and see how can I further improve my living with not just medication, but also with daily walks, writing, speaking to myself, washing my floors, keeping it tidy, making a good dinner for myself, taking a swim. It is the whole thing, It is the whole summary of things that makes up one's living. Thank you.